Well, having appeared in front of the camera for the last 20 years, Oscar-nominated actor Chiwetel Ejiofor took on a very inspiring story for his directorial debut.
Yeah, in The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, he tells the true tale of a 13-year-old boy in Malawi who invents a way to save his family and village from famine. Take a look.
Matsi. Indes. Ampep. Zita kuteka. Ngati mungandita ndizi.
Chiwetel is here with us now. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
What an amazing, amazing movie. And why was this the one for your directorial debut?
Well, I read the book about 10 years ago, the memoir, William Kamkwamba's own story that he wrote with Brian Miller, his co-author. And I was just stunned by it, just blown away by the optimism, the hopefulness, the kind of inspirational nature of what William Kamkwamba did in Malawi when he was just 13 years old. And I just thought it was just a wonderful story to try and get out there, to try and sort of to tell people about in this way, in this kind of cinematic language, in this kind of epic scale.
Yeah, and not just directing, acting, and starring in it as well. Why take on so much?
Couple of titles.
Well, it kind of happened incrementally. You know, I wasn't really, it was 10 years ago, so I wasn't really planning on being in the film. Initially, I actually thought I was too young when we started. To have the two teenage kids and everything, and I just turned 30. I was like 31, 32, and I thought my playing age was about 25. And but then over the years, I kind of grew into the sort of sweet spot to play Chiwetel, and so I thought, well, let me give it a go. As well as.
Good choice. Well, we're glad you did. But everybody in this film is fantastic. So, what was the casting process for this like, and especially with the boy who played William? I mean. Yeah,
Maxwell Simba is just an amazing young actor, and we cast a very wide net, to look for who was going to play William Kamkwamba, because the whole weight of the film is on this person's young shoulders, and Alexa Fogel was our brilliant casting director out of New York, and she had contacts on the continent, and we were in a lot of schools in Malawi, obviously, in Kenya and South Africa, and just out of that process up popped Maxwell Simba, and I saw him on a tape, he'd recorded an audition tape, and I just had that very strong sense about him, that he had this depth of emotional intelligence as well as sort of intellectual intelligence. He just could carry things very simply and very minimally, in a way that was just so rich. Took me years to figure out how to be that quietly confident as he is in the film. It's really wonderful.
And it's very authentic to Malawi at that time, that culture. Why was that so important for you to capture those things?
I just wanted to take the audience on a real journey into that space, into that authentic place, and one of the ways in which I wanted to do that was with the language, with Chichewa, which I learned, and Maxwell learned as well, and we also had some Malawians in the cast, many Malawians, so we were able to sort of get together, and those of us who were learning would learn, and those of us who were teaching, would teach and help us, and so, they speak a lot of English in Malawi, and they speak a lot of Chichewa, in the sort of private spaces, at home.
I noticed the friends spoke English to each other.
Exactly, and the younger generation speak English, or a mixture, and that kind of bilingual nature, which we're all quite used to, I think, in many ways. But in the home and in the sort of very private spaces, I wanted to have a lot of Chichewa spoken, and then, as it is in Malawi, in school or in workplaces, there's English spoken. Just that balance and that mixture was very authentic to me, and so I wanted to sort of try and keep that.
It created an intimacy as well, I think, with the family particularly.
And I think it kind of brings an audience into those spaces.
It does,
and that intimacy.
And the film's already getting great reviews. I mean, you've been living with this for like 10 years, you said, but what do you hope that adults and young adults are going to take away from this film?
Well, I think it's a film for all the family, really. And I just think it's a truly inspirational, optimistic story. It's really a story about a young boy who's really facing these enormous challenges, but really faces them and lives in the solution, and using science and education, works out a wonderful way of getting through this situation, but also in keeping with his tradition and his culture and his sense of community, and that sort of family dynamic, which is so sort of central to the story as well.
One of those things that kind of helps you put things in perspective.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So we can't let you get out of here without asking about The Lion King. What can you tell us? Because it's coming up.
Not much. I mean, I'm really.
We already know the story.
I'm so excited about it. You know, I just
Yeah.
think it's. I think it's going to be absolutely thrilling, and I'm first in line. You know, so I'm waiting as well. You know, I was so excited to be asked to play Scar and to be part of this reimagining of it.
Yeah.
Such
Sink
an
your teeth in.
incredible cast. I can't wait. Well, you can see The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind in select theaters and streaming on Netflix tomorrow. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right.